destiny, somebody you're supposed to be. Far from the small town, there's answers waiting to be found. So she lies awake, thinking there's been some mistake, crying her eyes out, begging for help. She's shouting, I want a new brain, I want a new heart. I'm sick of feeling, failing and falling apart.
Rise in mind.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Oh my god, my freaking alarm on my phone just went off because it was Rise in Mind time. It's time!
I just heard this.
Holy
Just
shit.
heard a monster.
Asian
Big
Giggles,
Sentinel in the house.
welcome to Rise in Mind. Asian Giggles coming in with a sub, immediately opening us up with subbing for 2 months. Thank you so much, Agent Giggles.
Thank you very much. Wonderful to have you here.
We got the music started. It was supposed to start slowly. All right, let's get softer. Here we go. Yeah, there we are. Hello, hello.
Okay.
Today we drink from the skulls of our enemies.
Oh, dude, you got a dope hat on.
Oh, actually, I wanted to start with this. I'm glad you mentioned the hat, because look on the side here. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it. Oh, there we go. Hello, hello, Abso. Yes, happy Pride. We will be touching on that a little bit as well.
Famous?
Nope, that is the fire one.
Yes.
So I have a fire hat. I have a wind hat. I have a earth hat. And I'm the only one I'm missing now is a Spanus hat.
All right.
I got
That's
a
gonna be
Spanus
easy.
shirt. Oh my god, what am I doing? CP, entertain
Maybe
the
we'll
people
make-
for a second. I gotta grab
maybe we'll
something.
make
Yes,
it.
it is a new.
I like the costume change. I like all the adjustments. That's fun. He's playing around with it. Look, he looks well groomed. He's got new hats. He's doing everything he can. Being more presentable every week. He's here for Space Viking. Give him a round of applause. He's got multiple hats for different days. He's a man of many hats. Me too. I'm a bit gray. It's a bit gray here in Maine, and I'm getting a cold. Here we go, like at camp. You know, we just had like 90
Totally
degree
forgot. I bought this
weather.
shirt.
Coffee wizard. You know, kind of vibes. So he's coming in. He's going to do a fashion show.
I've got the fashion
We're
show.
talking
Yes.
about heroes and things like that. As far as a show,
I bought a space shirt with. It's got stripes, which makes it look more adult.
Oh yeah, okay.
I got my Space Viking rank on there.
I was gonna say, is that the rank?
Yeah.
You're like...
No, I love it. It's from my favorite shirt company, Into the AM. The same shirt that I got, the same company I got you.
Yeah. It's not right handy, but yeah, you can check last week's show. I had a super cool Space Viking gifted present that our buddy here, the Viking, got me with
Yes.
surprised me with a cool T-shirt. What's that company? There's some pretty
Into
cool
the
shirts.
AM.
Like AM radio Rafferdo. I don't know. I was gonna say
This is one of their first full color prints. They don't normally do the full print like for the entire shirt like this. So it's new. It's a new style for them, which is like I'm gonna support that because I love space, and here they have a picture of actual space on a shirt.
You know, he's trying to talk about all this cool stuff. We're starting the show, and then like Abso's jumping and saying like I had an affair with a gay man. I know it's Pride Month.
Oh.
You know, like what? Hey, I got some cool. Speaking of T-shirts, I got a cool T-shirt coming. You'll see me in.
CP, you're sounding I couldn't catch this, but for some reason you didn't sound this way before, but now you're sounding a little bit tinny.
Did I get tinny? Now?
Well, you sound like you're in another room. It's like muff. It's
Shit.
like a little muffled.
Absolutely, you turned it up. Maybe I turn it down. Is that better? Is that better?
That's a little. That's a little better.
I do have like, so I got a Gloom stack. The Dreamers Arcade has been taking some major Gloom attacks in the renovation, and there are some JIT piles, and we got a big stack. And I don't know if it's like vibing off the side of it. So yeah, my apologies if the sound is a little weird. I can't put it over there 'cause then you won't see my face. Uh, all right, we'll figure it out. You guys think it's unmanageable? Should I troubleshoot this?
the
So what are we
the
at?
the real trouble comes when we have 3 hours of audio, and I have to edit the whole thing.
That changed at all?
No, that didn't really change it. Last week it was absolutely perfect.
Just gonna move a couple things.
Discord did update though.
Did it? Yeah, and we just did an update to the Yeti.
Oh, you did a Yeti update as well?
I think it. Yeah, I think it was an auto update, like right when I turned the computer on.
Yeah, I can at least turn you up to 100% on here, but I can't really affect anything else on my end.
Direction is that?
Oh, there you go. That's it.
Does that sound better?
That sounds perfect.
Okay, I'll try to stay near it.
Oh, it might be your input. B actually has a good point. It does sound like it's coming from like a computer microphone or a monitor microphone instead.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
not coming from the Yeti.
I don't think so. It sounds we're getting a lot of background noise like what regular microphones. That's actually an easy fix. Put in your headphones and then go to in settings, voice and video.
I have a headphone
Okay.
in.
We're just doing some troubleshooting, guys. Sorry, this is a live recording, so sometimes we have to make sure that things are working properly as well.
Whoops. Click Discord's birthday bus. How the fuck do I get out of this?
Oops.
If I click two more things, the stream will explode.
the stream will explode. Do you need assistance from Abso?
I don't know what the fuck.
So it's
Discord's birthday. I gotta get back in the.
just press escape on your keyboard.
No, I got it.
Oh, okay, you found settings.
Okay, so
User settings, voice and
Yeah.
video, and then on the top you'll see the input device.
settings. Nope, that's not it.
He doesn't know what to do. So no, you're good.
That was users.
You found that, but so Agent Giggles,
And-
you wear gray to be overlooked in the crowd, or you just wear you like gray and you like that it's overlooked in a crowd? Wow, that's a pretty crazy
What are you doing?
crazy dream, Abso.
Well, I don't want you to come in here and crush stuff.
It's alright.
What?
Oh, you do?
What do you mean,
All
are
right.
you helpful?
Well, thank you for that sub, Agent Giggles. I appreciate you. Abso's gonna assist.
I think I was like right there. Yeah, it's like literally just. She didn't let me finish it. Now I don't feel like I don't get a dopamine rush.
Yeah, she's got to
All right, is that better?
That's yep, that's the one. That's
All right.
perfect. Cool,
I
cool.
used that too.
So you were probably in the right ballpark. So you do have to learn like where that stuff is.
Yeah, in the settings. I just didn't know. Like,
It was at the very top, and it's a drop down menu. Is that what I should have
Yep.
said? I didn't say that.
no, so there's too fucking Discord is too much. I don't know how you can look at a screen like this quickly, and like they put all all the busy stuff in the middle, so that's
Yeah.
where I'm gonna look. So I'm stuck in there, and like the shit that I need to see is just on the top. Just make it a different fucking color, dude. Like make
So-
it turn orange or something. It's just gray and blue, shit heels. Sorry, Discord, but you're not making my ADHD computer navigating fucking any good, brother.
The CP. I have, just for perspective's sake, because I just want to I want to say this because I want to show that you can learn even with intense ADHD to do this stuff. I have OBS, Stream Manager. I have your window. I have Discord. I have Spotify. I have Facebook Messenger. I have the chat bot, which I also have to manage. And I somehow manage all of it. It gets funky, so I know how you feel is what I mean. Renegade Monday has a second screen now.
And there's something I wanted to say too. It's funny, like working,
Yeah.
having another friend who has ADHD, and like working with them. It's funny. You ever watch the movie? You watched the movie Die Hard, right?
Yeah, I have.
There's like the two German brothers, that eventually like John McClane takes out. But there's a scene when they're shutting everything down, and like one of them's like trying to wire some shit, and then like the other dude comes out with a chainsaw, and he's like 999 because he's not ready, and the other dude just starts like chainsawing through, and it's like and then he's like trying to put the wires together quick, and he almost like kills the guy, and then the brother just walks off all casually. That's what I feel like. It's like, all right, fuck, we're moving into this. Oh shit, he's cutting the pie. I'm gonna die. Oh, okay, fuck. Oh, I got it. Oh no, he's on to the next thing. But it actually keeps things moving pretty quickly.
Oh my god.
I gotta find the clip from that, and then we can play that every once in a while. That's how I feel.
That'd be good. Yeah.
999.
Oh,
Hey Renegade, what's up?
Renegade
What's
Bundy
up,
has a second
what's up,
screen
V?
now. B is in the house. Agent Giggles had to go to work. Abso, I want to touch on this dream. So it is Pride Month, guys. Happy Pride to all those who it is applicable to. And if you don't like it, you can leave because that's not our vibe. So Abso had a dream last night that CP was having an affair with our gay friend. I was mad. This is what she was saying. I was mad. So I was like, just go ahead and spend the night with him. Then our friends tried to do everything. Our friend tried to do everything he could to stop him from coming over. Apparently it was a one-sided affair. Abso, you need to practice exercising self-care and control within your own life because your dreams are starting to manifest in a way where you do not have control over the situation.
There you go. They've spoken from the guru himself.
Got it. No, I'm completely fucking, I'm fucking with you. I'm so sorry. We're not experts. So welcome to Ours in Mind, everybody. We are not experts. We like to talk about philosophy and science, and we like to talk about the human condition, but we're not experts on most of these things. When we talk about art, we tend to know what we're talking about. When we talk about artistic expression, we tend to know what we're talking about. But when it comes to a lot of the topics that we discuss, we are not experts. Just a disclaimer out there.
I'm a little more of an expert in some of these topics, I will say. No, I'm just fucking with you. I'm just screwing with you.
Look, if we do talk about ADHD or what it's like to deal with having boomer parents, kind of experts in those things.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about
Life experience.
Well, I think expert's the wrong word. We definitely have a lot of experience in those things. So you wanted to talk about hope.
I just need some.
You need some hope. So let's break ground, everybody.
Breaking, guys. I love it.
We're breaking ground. So what?
I've had a stressful week.
Right.
And hope. Yeah, what is hope?
What is hope? What even? That's the wrong thing. Hold on. What is hope? Okay. Timer started, breaking ground up. Okay. So what
All right.
what the heck? What
Breaking
the heck,
ground up.
guys? What is hope? Bird up. What even is hope, right? So
Yeah, I don't know. I've
let's-
never felt that.
let's go by the definition. A feeling
okay, help me out.
of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen, right? And the sentence even is pretty great. He looked through her belongings in the hope of coming across some information. That's funny. That is the thing that Google has, right? And just so you guys know that I'm not making this shit up, we're gonna go to the share screen, and here's what I've brought up. And then we can even zoom in on it because Google gives us the power. Here's the thing. A feeling of expectation and desire for a certain thing to happen. We have the archaic version of hope. I love that, archaic. A feeling of trust.
Here.
And then you can do it as a
what it
verb. You can hope. What does it
Okay.
mean? What does it mean to hope? It's also a verb. He's hoping for an offer of compensation. Wow, went straight to capitalist bullshit. Crazy. I'm kidding. A feeling of trust. So our private friendship upon hope and affiance, whereof I presume to be your petitioner. That means nothing to me.
So
So, like,
this is the thing. Hope's a loaded fucking concept. That's the
it is.
problem
That's
with
what I
hope.
love about it. So,
It's too big. It's like one of the biggest concepts as a word.
well, what is like? It's one of the most human things, though. Too. It's very, very human to hope. Like, we could have the absolute worst shit happening in our life, a absolute deluge of bullcrap coming our way, and our brain will still go, "You got this. You can do it." You know, like the hope is so fucking powerful. And I'm saying that to you as well because you said that you need this, because it's a very human thing to need it as well as for your brain to give it to you. And if your brain isn't giving it to you, then there's like logic, there's numbers, there's all these things that can damage hope. Using hope as a verb,
Absolutely.
so I do want to touch on that a bit more. Using hope as a verb actually will help you feel it as well. But like there's a new concept here. Speaking of, like, you called me a guru, and I know you meant it as a joke, but there is something that I've been practicing that sort of fits within that kind of woo-woo kind of stuff. Is people call it affirmation, like words of affirmation and things like that. One way to bolster hope is to skip over it entirely and just say everything works out for me. Everything's going to be fine. You know, like, it's no longer hope, it's certainty.
Yeah, I think I have that post-it. Everything I do works for me, and I have I have the power. That's from the Space Viking.
And I firmly believe that. Like, a lot of these things have gotten,
I'm working on it. I read it,
kind of pushed to
and
the
I try to
fringe.
put, like you said, the affirmation.
Yeah,
Good. You were saying?
the affirmations have kind of gotten pushed to the fringe, right?
Hmm.
And well, not affirmations, but a lot of the woo-woo stuff is being pushed to the fringe. But there's actual psychological evidence that the brain actually will start to function. Like, if you are finding yourself in a really sour mood, literally just smiling for no reason for long enough, and not in a mocking way, because your brain knows. That's what's funny about that. I used to do that all the time when people would say, "Why don't you just smile?" And I don't even mean it like you walk up to, like, say you're this chauvinistic kind of man, and you walk up to a girl and you go, "Why don't you smile more?" Right? Not that kind of smiling. I mean, like, you just force your muscles in your brain, in your face, to sort of curl up a little bit, and just keep doing that for like maybe 20 minutes or so, and your brain will actually catch on and be like, "Okay, do you actually have a reason to be sad? You have a reason to look insane, like CP does right now."
I was gonna make myself cry, man. That was some face exercise.
Yeah. We actually did face exercises. I had that class called acting for animators when I was in computer animation school in my trade school that I went to. And one of the exercises we did in that class was like they called it the lemon face, and then the politician face, where you just like smile really big and fake. And then you have the lion face, which is like a roar, you go like really wide. And then you there's the worried like
Faces with us, guys.
there's
Fuck
like
it.
there's
Do
like
faces with
there's
us.
the worried face. And you do like you just stretch out all your face muscles. And the lemon face is where you squint, like you squint your entire eyes and your nose, like, and that like stretches out your the upper part of your face. And that worked really well. Like
Oh.
you're like you just feel more like you can talk easier. Your all your face muscles actually work a little better after stretching them out. It's pretty good. It was awesome.
Wow, I don't really move those nose muscles much.
Yeah.
You know, that's funny you bring this up too, because like one thing that I started doing
You can
on my
fake a lot
overall
of
path.
well, sorry, before you continue, my point in saying all that is you can fake yourself into a lot of things just with moving your body.
Gotcha. Yeah, and so like this, I said, well, you know, maybe we're not gonna all get into the idealized version of ourselves tomorrow, because that's a fantasy. But
Takes
in
time.
time and work, you subtle, especially like almost like no effort daily activities can accumulate. You know, it's the same idea if you don't do your dishes, right? If you don't do your dishes, they pile up and then it's like, fuck, I got a whole thing to tackle. Now the same idea if you just did a dish as you dirtied it, it would be the opposite, staying ahead versus falling behind. Now, I wanted this path to betterment, and I was like, well, what's getting better physically? Sometimes it doesn't have to be like spending 2 hours at the gym. What if I just make a commitment when I go outside and maybe look at the stars and do some stretching to move differently every day? And someone who's like lived 4 decades, it's like, oh, how many different ways is there to move? You'd be surprised, especially as you start like getting like in shape, just like, oh, I've never moved like this. This is weird. And just how you showed me with the face, like I don't focus attention on a specific point of my face for my whole life. And it's really exciting, and I think it does help give you like hope and for the future, even on these little things, because it's like, oh wow, there's so much one can do, just little changes every day, making a face or making a different type of stretch or putting a
Mhm.
post-it note,
Oh jeez.
just changing it up slowly, you know. I'm a firm believer that
Yeah.
works, and it's been working for me on a lower stress level, because you know guys with ADHD save stuff to the last minute, and then it's like, let's all go out and do it, and it's like, well, what if I just did a little of this at a time? Wow, what a concept. What if I took care of myself and actually was a little bit more gentle on myself, instead of like, run right in there, CP, and take it all down, do the whole fucking thing. You did it all, pal. You know,
You did it all, pal. So
that's what I did on Thursday. I
I
did it all, pal. A week's worth of jobs in one day.
so I love what you just said about like doing the dishes. So like
Mm.
one aspect of hope is having goal oriented thoughts and developing strategies to achieve goals and being motivated,
Believing in them.
like yeah, being motivated to expend effort to achieve them.
I see hope as the belief that your values will come to fruition.
Yeah,
You have a value, right? And then the hope, a lot of people will be like, well, I can't do that. Well, that's hopeless.
that's silly. You can do that. Anyone can do that.
So like, or like, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna fail. And it's like, well, if you don't do it, you fail. So
So that
you gotta do it.
that actually touches
And
on one of my favorite things about hope is that the one of the ways to psych yourself out of hope is to hope for something that you don't even want. Like you want it for the wrong reasons, right? it doesn't actually fit with your vision of where you want your life to go. So the hope becomes fake, right? It becomes a false hope. You like psych yourself out of the thing that you want most because you're now hoping for an aspect of it that either doesn't actually fit with what you want to be or where you want to be or what like where you want your life to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Um,
like if like for instance, if you're hoping for promotion and you don't even like your job now,
yeah. No.
you know, like oh great, now you're hoping for something that you don't really want. Is it even going to happen then?
And I've been kind of playing with this idea lately that there's two sides, and I think I might have mentioned it to you, but I'm starting to realize it more. Like when you understand there's a world of money and you understand there's a world of values, and then understand that they don't always gel together, they don't work together.
Right.
If you didn't have to pay for the structure of life and bills and stuff, would you do the job you do? Would you make the decisions you make? A lot of us are making decisions based on the way we survive, the way that we support ourselves. But if given the chance, or if we didn't have families to take care of, or this and that, we might throw more caution to the wind and do the things we value. Like,
Yeah.
don't be an artist. That's not a solid job. Be a this. And it's like, well, that's in violation of my values versus what you think I should do to survive in the money world. And they're inseparable spaces and they can work together, but they generally like fuck up artists. That's what I'm finding.
Oh yeah.
Because they're like, should I shift my value? Should I commodify? Should I lean more into this? What should I do? How about asking yourself as an artist, what do I want to do? And just going on it and like feeling good about what you do. But then people be like, yeah, but I don't know if that's going to make me money. I'm going to be in the poorhouse. If that wasn't an issue, you'd be happy. But you see what I'm saying? A lot of times doing the genuine thing, strangely enough, leads to money. But you know, when you're like grinding to do bootlegs and things like that, you know, that's never gonna, as much as that's gonna help you maybe pay your bills, at the end of the day, you know, that's not gonna get you any further to the truth of what you want to be doing creatively. And a lot of that, tying back in, is to have hope. When you have the absence of hope in your values, like I would like to be an artist and spread art around the world. Well, I am to a capacity, but I'm also hinged in a certain responsibility financially that a lot of times pulls me out of that realm. And if I could be in it more, I'd be further along pushing out the things that I value. And yeah, and then if you don't have the hope, if you run into the disparity of I can't pay my bills, now that's actually getting in the way, and it's starting to pull in and affect that hope, right?
Yeah.
You don't it's not that you don't have faith in yourself anymore. Like, I know I'm a good artist and I'm creative, and a lot I think artists do, and they know if they had the time and the support, they could build something really profound. But then when they turn around and they're like, fuck, i'm I'm late on rent, I gotta get a new car, I gotta start doing that grind. And then it takes away from the hope of like, I'm going to be able to be an artist, because no, this thing has made it so I feel hopeless, because now I have to stop doing art, go to work, grind out some money, fix this, and then this thing keeps me in a circle of like, oh, now I gotta fix it to go to work, and I gotta buy stuff for work, and then it's like, fuck.
Can I
Now
ask
that
you?
I'm further and further away from
can I-
where I want to be.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
Is
anytime.
is your sense of hope tied directly to what you value, or is it directly tied to how you are valued?
Um,
Because your value as an artist is not represented properly monetarily in our society. So to tie your hope to that is asking to feel unhappy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's another like contrast, and it clashes. Yeah, and there's lots of things, and I think hope too is like just not wanting to feel like, I hope nobody thinks I'm full of shit. There's that side of it too. So
Yeah.
a lot of artists are working to prove themselves, and I think the market is easy to sway because it's like, if you had all the time to focus specifically on the art that you want to create and didn't divert for kind of impulsive like money grabs, then you'd be further along. And then it's like, I think the jumping around, the indecision because of like, oh, maybe I'll try this, maybe I'll try that, then it starts to compromise your validity. Like, people don't want to be seen as imposters. And now a lot of times I go out there and I was like, I hope people just like think I'm like, you know, really all about this. You don't want people to think like you're disingenuous or trying to like, or sometimes I hope like, oh, I hope people aren't trying to like think that I'm trying to tell them what to do. And so I'm always mindful of that. Like,
Yeah.
I have like hope in different ways. Like, oh, some of it does align to how people perceive me, because I have ultimately my best interest and other interests of people close to me. But I have a strong mission to make sure that art is constantly put out in the world and validated, and not,
How does it?
you know,
How do you achieve validation?
I've already got
What's
it.
the process? What's the
They wrote my name in the paper. They said CP sketch artist, and so a guy wrote it. A guy wrote it. I didn't write it. Now when you don't write it, right? If someone else writes it, that's all you need to do. So
You
get in the
have to
paper
write.
once.
Everyone has to write it. You have to write your own story.
Yeah, so I've been telling myself that this is it. I had a professor he's fucking wild, man. He's like, I am an artist. I'm a professor second. He's just straight up like he
Oh.
defines himself as an artist.
Damn.
And a lot of people, a lot of people like, well, are we paying you to teach us? And he was like real laissez-faire. You know what that style is, where it's
Could you explain that?
So there's different ways to teach, and laissez-faire was I don't know what it translates from the French root, but it's like it's lazier style of teaching where you'll teach, but you step back a lot, and you're like, all right, you guys go with it. I'm gonna go in my office. I'll be back in a half hour, and then it's like, all right, now let me look. Yeah, and it's like, it's not like an authoritative way of teaching where you're just like, do this, do that, do that, do this. And everybody has different styles that work, but I loved this guy's laissez-faire, like, where it's like, yeah, I don't have to like tell you what to do, and I'll let you develop, and then as you develop, I think I'm gonna like be informed to say things. So it's almost like a little more improvisation.
Yeah.
Where he's not coming out with these are the rules. He's just watching in real time and observing. And I think that's a cool art way. I think I do that a lot. And but a lot of people would be like, homeboy's just lazy. Lazy fair style. And
lazy fair. That works way too well. Holy crap. Yeah. Yes. That's fantastic. Lazy fair. Maybe that's where, no, well, I mean, that's a play on words, but what I mean is maybe that's what it actually is that it's just another way to be lazy. And if you call it a fancy, classy name, then people can't point at you and go, oh, you're being lazy. No, he's doing a style. He's not being lazy. He's stylish.
He's speaking in French. It's fancy.
Yeah, that's what.
Look at a.
Well, no, the French.
He's not cheap. He's frugal.
He's not cheap. Exactly frugal. What is it?
Yeah,
no.
I don't know if that was a French word.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know French.
Like,
I apologize.
There's fancier ways to like.
There are any French
fancy
speakers.
spins.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Artists have great words for fucking screwing with you. like the details, the minutia, like
Oh,
shit like that. You know?
Dadaism.
Huh?
Dadaism is one that always comes up, where
Oh,
and
well, yeah, there's
like,
arts.
well,
Yeah,
there's like, well, and like minimalist styles. A lot of them, like, there's one artist in particular that comes to mind where they like shit on the entire art community, not art community, sorry, the entire like highbrow art world, like the gallery world, and they basically
yeah.
proved that it's money laundering because they said, I'm gonna do these paintings and they're gonna be just dots, and watch what happens. Just because of my name, the artist said, because of my name's on it, these paintings are gonna make millions of dollars. And it doesn't matter what the content is. He was trying a lot harder with his art. He was doing, like, full figures, dynamic backgrounds, all this stuff, right? And he went completely off his normal pattern, and the art still sold just as much. And now it's a movement. It got so deep, his prank got so widespread that now it's an actual art movement called Dadaism. And it just shined this bright light on how the art world isn't valued for its art. It's not valued
So,
for the art. It's valued for the how much money people can launder using art.
and it's been like that for quite some time. You know, everybody knows Monet. You know, the impressionist painter from 18 something or other, I think. I only say they know him because it's like a name brand. Like, if people say, like, if you like name an artist, people be like Andy Warhol, and or they'll say Monet, and or Van Gogh. And Van Gogh came after Monet. Anyway, there was a dude named Manet, not mayonnaise, but Manet with an A instead of an O.
You mean Monet?
There's Monet and then there's Manet.
Oh, okay. So that's why I'm confused.
Yeah. And so, like, people don't know about Manet, but Manet was like this dude who came up before Monet, who inspired him a lot and was sick of the bougie, like, art galleries back, 150 years ago. And they go, I'm going to create the art of the real, or the studio or something. And he created like a vending experience around the block of the real art. And this art in the galleries is bullshit, and it's a commodity that's just being traded. And I'm making the real art around the corner and progressing art as an artist. And so he was doing that 150 years ago against the system, because it was being traded for, like you said, it's a commodity. And then since then, think about it. Think about how much subdivision, not only within the gallery, from putting stuff, we've gone from gallery art to internet art to AI art to all these different things. But we're now dealing with, we're digital artists, traditional artists, illustrator, painter, and there's all these different subdivisions, crafter,
Yeah.
and the Dreamers Arcade likes its "Don't Dream It's Over" song, because
Oh,
we are subdividing ourselves and putting
yeah.
barriers between us more and more, in our
Oh.
definition. And some of that has to do with the money separation and the value separation that we talked about at the beginning.
Yeah.
So not only are the commodity market has kind of changed the way we look at ourselves as art, it's also subdividing us into small tribes so we get together and survive together, but we're creating tension, and we do cons together. There's lots of different people, and now people are like, not only do I not know how to gel with this con, if we were all the same, we're all different.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then the facilitator, then becomes separate from the experience, because the individuals now start to have problems amongst the community, if not handled properly. And then we run into the problems that we have in the world today, where there's too much lower fighting to understand that, there's a system that can be changed or can be readapted. And if we did come together as a large enough collective, be it illustrator, or artist or crafter, we could create opportunities for us. And something that I'm passionate about and trying to work on in real time is why I'm feeling a lot of stress, and it's why I need a lot of hope
Does that bolster?
because
Does
I'm
it
doing a
bolster
lot of
hope for you?
huh?
Does it bolster hope for you to be
Well, it's
to be creating more and being among other artists? Because that's what it does for
yeah, well,
me. Like I get really down on my art until I go to a convention and try to like put it out there, and then I realize that so many of those negative voices were my own. It wasn't even
yeah.
there wasn't anyone commenting on my art going, your art sucks. There was no one going like oh, what are you doing? You know, like there was a couple of times when I tried going on Reddit, or there was another site called 9gag that had a huge toxic community. And there was one particular moment where I had a person say, I hope you're, like I had said, this is a character from my novel that I drew. And they had commented and said, I hope your writing is better than your art. And it was such a like soft insult, but at the same time it was like, wow, some people.
Yeah, you know, and I don't understand the unsolicited. Well, I guess it is solicited.
It is.
Like when you put
Yeah.
your shit on the internet, which I don't do in a comment. I mean, I do on Instagram and stuff, but usually it's just like DM for fucking NFT party. I don't know what the hell.
It's always some shit.
Just a bunch of droid shit.
Yeah.
I get a lot of play there, but yeah, you know, I never went on the hardcore sites where people could flame me because I know it'd just be like people being jerks to be jerks, and then that's not helpful, right?
No, not to them either. That's basically how I was able to work through that, was that I could look at it and go, well, they're going through some shit in their life that they need to work through, and that should not be a reflection on me.
Well, they may not ever work through it. Some people I've just accepted are trash.
Well, I have hope.
I don't have to be their buddy.
I have hope that everyone will eventually see what they need, right? They'll see it eventually someday. And even if it's on their deathbed, right? Even if it's that very moment.
No, that's not true, Matt.
Not everyone, maybe not.
We have family members that have died that didn't get there, right?
Well, no,
I just had a really good time with Grandpa the other day down at the grave, so you know.
Well, do you know what their final thought was as they passed away, though? Do you know what that is?
No.
Neither do I. That's what hope is about. Is you can draw a conclusion from the lack of information. That's why hope is very faith-based. People usually put hope and faith in the same category. Because then you could say, well, I don't know what they thought, and maybe he was gasping his last breath, and he thought, man, I was a fucking dick to everybody. I sucked.
I think he was gasping his last breath, and he was like, oh man, these aren't clouds. It's hot down here.
Oh my god. Whoa. Yeah, Stonehouse art.
You know what my grandfather said? He goes, I was having a dream last night. This was years ago. He goes, and there's just snakes, and they just wouldn't stop coming, and they just keep coming and keep coming and keep coming.
Oh my god.
And then he struggled to live for a very long time after that. I don't know if Grandpa knew. I don't know if he was going to a good place. At least in his mind, it wasn't a good place when he rested.
So Stonehouse art said, some people are just see you next Tuesdays. Yeah, some people are, but we're talking about hope. So like the reason that I bring
we're gonna be hopeful.
Yeah, the reason I bring up the idea that we don't know what they thought in the last moment is that, like, if you want to be a hopeful person, you can create those sort of. It might be completely false. Maybe the brain doesn't even have enough activity in that moment.
Stonehouse, I don't know if you're right, but Patty Mayonnaise is a cunt.
Patty Mayonnaise, yes. Yeah, actually.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, in the show Doug, Patty Mayonnaise was actually very hurtful to all the other characters in the show, and everyone treated it like it was fine.
Dude, get this bitch out of here. She sucks.
With people, there is no hope. That's pretty. Stonehouse art. Did you recently have a problem with people, or do you often have problems with?
Oh, misanthrope in the building. Hide the wives, hide the children. Misanthrope in the building. hey, it's all right. Tell me, is there any hope
I have to look
for
up that
us?
word.
Come on, you don't have hope in us that we
true.
might have there might be
Oh,
something.
it is.
What do you think?
CP, I love that you used that word. I hadn't actually known the actual definition of misanthrope.
Misanthrope? Yeah.
Just dislikes humankind, and that's fine. That's actually perfectly valid. If you just dislike humankind, yes, and you prefer animals because they aren't full of shit. Well, sometimes animals are literally just full of shit, though. They don't talk shit, but sometimes they have bad days and they have like not very. You have to clean up after them because they had a bad day.
You know what I like? You know what I like about animals? Animals, you can co-write your relationship.
Oh, like how I have intense political conversations with my cat, and I don't know what her actual views are. She'll just
and you
meow
can echo chamber, yeah, like yeah, right, Inky, right, yeah, all right. Oh, good to see you. You're happy to see me too. Oh, we're buddies. Like it's just that's all affirmation. So a cat is a good example of how to give yourself affirmations if you don't naturally do it. Like, hey, what's up, dude? I love you. You love me? Fucking all right. I do that with my cat. And I write the narrative, and it makes me feel good and close. And genuinely, when I look at the cat, I feel the nonverbal connection. But how much of that am I writing onto? Right here, what is he doing? He's drifting.
Oh, there's look at the tail. That's where she is right now. She's in her cat tree.
Oh, I see. It's like a snake.
She sees birds.
That's cool.
So her tail is just like swaying. So Stonehouse art. The human that is Stonehouse art, I greatly appreciate. I prefer. You're one of my preferred humans. Stonehouse art.
Oh, this is like a Pac-Man just sitting here.
I have not seen Stonehouse art in here in a while, so I'm gonna give you a shout out there.
I'm gonna turn down the light a little bit. Stonehouse is here. Stonehouse, I don't think I've ever talked to you before. If you want to be misanthropic, then I'm ready to switch the topic.
Stonehouse art is a beautiful human being who creates.
Call me the Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Photorealistic.
I don't hate my fellow man, labeling me a misanthrope.
Oh, here we go.
I just would like to have more hope for humanity, and I don't always. Call it the Negan complex. I just want you to do good, guys. I just want to help you get there. I just want to be a coach. And if you don't listen, I'm going to beat your fucking head in with a baseball bat, because those are the rules.
So you're making noises? So we just saw a clip of Stonehouse art. So I have an app.
I got into performance mode.
I saw that. I have an app called Sidekick that will bring up clips of people's streams when you shut them out.
Cool.
And it brought up one of Stonehouse just making noises with her face. Hello, KJ. Right, Stonehouse. Welcome.
I like to just make weird noises sometimes too. It gets my brain going. Gives me hope.
Yeah, it gives you hope. So, Stonehouse, you're one of the people that I do appreciate. One of the humans that I do appreciate. There are some humans that are less desirable. Yeah, hope when it comes to hope.
Stonehouse doesn't appreciate you. So no, with humans, no hope for you.
Well, she said some humans, but I don't know. She didn't mention us specifically, so maybe she does.
I thought there is with people. Well, there is no hope. Well, that's just a generalization. That's all. There's no hope for any of us.
CP, that would matter if I was a people.
You're not a people. What are you?
I'm not a people. I've seen.
So you're an ascended.
Well, no, I'm not ascended. I'm not saying I'm better than people. I'm saying that I look at the group of people and I go, I don't think I'm with them.
Hold on, dude. Is that the Dalai Lama?
No.
The Dalai Lama?
Now you're just fucking with me. No, yeah, I just sometimes it's hard to associate with humans seeing what they do. Like there's so much stuff that they do that's like, how is that a choice? And it's not even about it's not about feeling better than them. It's more about seeing that some of the choices that people make is I don't quite understand it. Actually, this kind of brings up something I wanted to touch on that I don't want to do. I don't feel like doing the humans are ridiculous segment anymore. And I'm okay with talking about this on the air. Is that it actually felt a little divisive. Just a little. I was like, wait a minute. This is sort of like creating an inhuman feeling. Because it's supposed to. But a lot of the things that humans do make sense to humans, right? We have reasons for everything that we do. So, acting as aliens, observing Earth, is is a little bit like it's going to generate misunderstandings.
And it was a weird exercise.
'Cause
I'm glad
even-
we did it, but yeah, I could anything that breeds negativity, even if it's like a bit, and you have to think about it.
Yeah,
and yeah, it was bringing up like you're pulling from real life material too. Like I was probably pulling from like certain things and stuff. But yeah, there's a certain amount of catharsis in being like an asshole, but how if you like you said doing it every week, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not every
But
week.
you gotta
right?
try things, and you learn things about yourself. So there's hope for you. There's hope. You're not gonna be toxic asshole.
Yeah.
You want to be kind.
Good
You
morning.
want to value kindness, right?
Good morning, KJ. Yeah, I value kindness. I think that's what it is. It's not that like you said, I'm coming off as like a guru or like ascended. No, I just value kindness. So there's so much in the world that I see that is unkind, and it's hard for me to associate with people who are doing unkind things. And sometimes I don't feel like a people or a human, because I see so many humans being unkind. I'm like, if that's the common denominator of humans, then I don't think I'm one of them.
Oh yeah, I had the worst nightmare last night. I woke up because of the unkindness of human, and I fight industrialization in my area, well actually right next door to my house. What has started as a quarry might become a steel mill now. It's just getting trolly, it's getting ridiculous, and we have to learn everything and downshift and now get specialists in a new field. And these people know that they're fucking with us, and it's stressful because through that I built a very strong bond to the community, my road especially, that I didn't have within 6 months. So there's something that was great, but also on the other side of it, it does show this vileness of how persistent people are for just ripping the world apart for a bunch of money and disrupting neighborhoods, coming in from away and not having any consideration for people. And so last night I was having dreams like they were going through our property. They were literally like disregarding even the rules and like putting roads through our house and like driving right beside my house and through the septic tank. And I was stuck. I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? You can't come through here. This is private property. And this guy was with his wife and his kids, and it was like this guilt where it was like, oh, come on, he's just trying to do his job. Let him go through, because that's like the argument. And I'm like, yeah, but like you just ripped up my yard, and I was standing in my septic tank and I was sinking up to my waist, and I was like, I mean, like, come on. And it was like I'm supposed to be the bad guy, and it was stressful. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and this guy sent me a clip from my favorite movie as a kid, The Never-Ending Story, that started a lot of my ideology, the gloom and everything and the nothing. Yeah, you caught me. It's this nihilistic dark philosophy of the time, and it's what I learned and it's what I observed. But
I want to answer Stonehouse Art's question here real quick.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Go ahead.
I'm just kidding. No, so I'm just to wrap that up. It's amazing that like there's this darkness, and it has taken away some of my hope, and it's taken away my hope for my area, for my safety, for people, and then it's also trying to make me feel guilty at the same time. And then you send me a clip where a horse, basically, you didn't send me this clip, but a horse sinks into the sea of sorrow or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, I sent you the clip of the socialist wolf.
The socialist wolf. So the wolf was my biggest fear. This is a whole side story. The wolf's my biggest fear, and then to see him get killed by something bigger, that's an element of what I put into the Dreamers Arcade. But the idea of sinking in the mud, and then the fact that I was just standing in the septic tank, and I woke up to that clip, and I was like, feels good, man. Like, dude
Let
just
us
sent
go
me a fucking
into
thing on
that
Instagram,
Feels
but it
good.
was so appropriate and it gelled so well that it gave me hope. This dark ass nihilistic clip gave me hope, and I was like, yeah, you know, the more I have hope, no hope for people,
Damn.
the people that do inspire hope, it just amplifies that. And I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I'm like, perfect time. And then you start to think, maybe this is all not even just you and me in this situation. Maybe this is a bigger story and it's bigger than all of us.
Damn.
And that's, I think, what gives me even more hope.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's not going to be all just me. I'm just the archetype artist gelling on the energy. And now, you know, keep going and have hope that it's either going to work out or not.
Yeah.
Because I'm just some guy who's going to die someday. Who cares? You can play it like that. You can take it off your shoulder. We're moving into the next segment. Yes, I know.
Yeah, we're going into the deep dive with Stonehouse Art actually brought us into the deep dive with their question. It's kind of perfect for it. Do you think you're an optimist or a pessimist? So I have an interesting answer to this that I think CP will appreciate as well. CP's heard me say this.
Yes.
I have a lot of hope that the world will end soon. And I don't mean like everybody's gonna die, kind of end soon. I mean, we need everything to change. We need a complete revamp of how the world is run, right? I have so much hope that
reset.
I have a lot of hope that I'm an optimistic pessimist.
Wow. Me too, buddy.
I'm very optimistic that everything will change.
You gave me hope. You warmed my heart. When you find people like who are aligned, oh, it made me cry a little bit. That was funny.
So,
yeah, you like to have that to use darkness like that. Like, doesn't fucking matter. Like, it's gonna end anyway, you know, or whatever to whatever capacity, and to catapult off that.
Hello,
It's cool.
Evandale. Welcome into Rising Mind.
Oh yeah, new people up in the house.
It is kind of a long way of saying pessimist. Stonehouse Art, but I want like a true apocalypse, because the actual meaning of the word apocalypse means an end to the world as we know it, and I'm so tired of the world as I know it. I'm like exhausted by it. Even there's days when I'm like
listening to that REM song.
There's got to be a better way. And so KJ, yes, we're gonna be talking about self-care and hope today. We're starting on hope. KJ says, I felt some hope after sobbing in therapy the other day. Good on you for going to therapy. That's huge. I was longing for human connection.
Doesn't that feel good?
And not getting it. But my hope was
doesn't that feel good just to release emotions? That gives me hope when I can release the emotions.
Pain doesn't last forever, KJ says.
Yeah, and you know, like, I was talking about the move a different way. That you know, you move your body, you have pain in your body. If you just stretch and move, that pain shifts, it moves. You can control with breath, with stretching more and more how you move your body around. And it's the same idea in the emotions. Like, if you're not physically breathing, like, you know, I get anxious and I realize I'm not breathing anymore. And then it's like, well, my brain and muscles need oxygen. So it's like, fucking breathe, dude. And then, like, okay, I feel a little bit better. And then it's like focusing certain things on the body and then allowing yourself to process emotions, and not just the same emotion. Like, I have a tendency to get angry. And so yeah, I could be pissed and rant, but like, well, what about the sad side of it? I need to take it into another space to maybe get the tears out, or to find this area where there is joy and hope that's past all of this. Yeah, be careful with how much you accumulate and have on your shoulders. And it is wonderful that to hear that people are, you know, you're was it KJ? You're talking about talking with people. And you know, we offer this as a fun, non professional, just kind of shitting around, well, let's feel better together type thing. That's what we try to offer. But it is important to seek out other professionals, and I guess there's apps and stuff, and there's a lot of stuff out there that's, and great books that reading a good book on belief therapy or something, 100-page book that, you know, it's going to make you feel better for probably at least, you know, quite a few months. Just putting, like you said, Matt, affirmations, different words. If you're saying the same thing, like there's no hope, you're waking up, you're saying that. Well, try to less harm that, and you don't have to say there is hope, but you could say, well, there's probably a little hope. You know,
Yeah.
where's that little hope? If there's, I don't think there's much. Is that little, or can you be the source of hope? Maybe
you can. Everyone
maybe
can.
everybody sucks, and you're gonna be the one person that doesn't suck, and then maybe you suck a little bit, but you're trying to suck less. The road to success is to suck less. That's a
Ooh,
CP original.
that should be on a
right here.
T-shirt. So KJ,
Get your
that's
t-shirts.
that's Dreamers Arcade right there. That's the man, the myth, the legend right here. CP.
Thanks. Yeah.
Dreamers Arcade is managed by both he and Absoluc Flutely.
It's an artist collective that's growing in, yeah, it's got cool stuff.
Yeah.
But I enjoy hanging out with this guy and all of you, and he, Mr. Viking, has allowed me to
fucking guy
sailing his ship for quite a while now, and man, shit, I didn't do my podcast for the last couple weeks, but I'm still here.
To be fair,
cheating on him.
I have not done any of the audio yet for this podcast, so it's honestly not.
To be fair, I've ripped my fucking whole house apart, and I have maybe not many walls. But hey, when they come to shove a wall between you, let them know they won't win. And now you can see through the bathroom into the bedroom.
Nice.
Hey now. Okay, so into the deep dive. Yeah,
content.
self-care is very important.
We're into the deep dive. So we talked on this a little bit already, but hope can actually be bolstered by self-care, and that's what you were kind of touching on just a second ago. Like, therapy is a form of self-care.
You were kind of doing it, but let me fucking mansplain it straight, dude.
No, I mean, it's a deep. Why do you gotta?
I'm just fucking with you.
Why do you gotta poke?
Why
do you gotta poke at my
I'm
insecurities?
just kidding, baby. I'm just kidding, baby. I love you. Oh, now Inky's in here.
I try so hard not to sound like that, and now you're making me think I do.
What?
Because I'm not an expert. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't. I'm not.
That's
I'm
why
not
I'm bringing it to your attention.
I'm not a guru.
You're one of the nicest, kindest people, and you should be on here just talking anyway. Like, that's the thing, because you value and promote kindness. That's truly like the professional and the hope of like people like you, Viking. Because I met a man a long time ago who provided kindness in my life, and it was the best thing ever. You know, like. You know, I came from a hard world, and kindness is weakness, but only in certain worlds. There is a beautiful world where people appreciate that and are looking for it, and they don't see it as weak. I respect that. We got a big Viking out there, and he's promoting being kind when he could probably conquer us all.
I don't know, like, they didn't write shit down, right? But like, there's evidence that the English shot first.
I mean,
in the original Viking raids.
I'm a bit of both. I'm so many people all wrapped up into one. Like, I'm my ancestors killed my ancestors type of walk-in human amalgamation. Like,
yeah,
you know, I'm English, I'm American, I'm probably a little Indian, French, Irish,
a bit of everything. So I promote kindness because it's like, why else are we even here? Like, what? Like, there's a phrase that I think Will Smith said it. I don't know if he was the original like quoter of this, but this is who I heard it from. Was that if you are not making someone else's
name out your fucking mouth, right? Keep my wife's name.
Well, that's what he's known for now. But this was back in like the late 90s, I think he said this, where he said that if you're not making someone else's life better, then you're wasting your time. Because
that's nice.
What else is there? Like, if you're like, there's of course survival. You have to make sure you survive. But like, what you need to do is clean house in your head, clean house in your life, and then you can have the room to help others. Like, that's why self-care is so important, because you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't bolster.
I know, man.
You can't bolster
an empty cup of coffee.
You can't bolster hope in another person until you fix you gotta clean your house in your mind. You gotta clean your home in your head. Like if anything is to start anywhere, it's gotta be in your head. So like the reason I spread kindness is because I also need kindness, right? I rely on the kindness of others because I have a lot of things in my life that aren't going like perfectly. Things aren't clean at home. So like kindness is my way of going, hey, I'm going through shit too. I'm also part of the cleanup crew of my own mind, and I see you going through that battle too. I'm not going to ignore that if you're also going through that battle. In fact, I'm going to celebrate it. Like I'm not going to just go. A lot of time, most people ignore each other, right? But if I see someone fighting that fight, I'm like, fuck yes, keep it up, don't stop.
Mm.
There's a hole in my love cup, KJ says. That's a book. That's a book too. It's what I think whenever someone says pouring from an empty cup. Yeah, if your cup is broken, someone illustrated this in a video recently, really brutally. They had a glass of water, right? And they said, "All right, so I'm gonna give you some water." And then they took a hammer and smashed the cup. And they're like, "Well, what if your cup can't even hold water?" Like, oh shit, that's a really great analogy. What if your cup is in pieces and you're trying to give so much of yourself, and yet your cup can't even hold water? What
if you don't even have a cup?
Yeah,
they're just like fucking. They're just making it rain with water, like splash up in your face. There's your fucking water for the day. Like you could get really like ridiculous with it. Like not even have a little piece of porcelain to like have a little moisture sit on. Like you just like, here you go, and you just throw it like, you know, in their face, and it's like it's all you get. Like it's horrible. Like people don't understand that we're all at different levels.
people don't realize.
I mean, even in our
podcast tropes,
our small neighborhoods.
Joking.
What's that?
I was joking about the podcast trope of people don't realize.
People don't even realize, you know, like us being the smartest people in New England.
Yes.
You know, we
hold on, wait. Let me get the microphone really close to my face. Can I blow your mind right now? There's a guy I follow on TikTok.
Wait a minute.
There's a guy on TikTok I follow who's doing this satire series, and he did it so he did it so well that a podcaster he's making fun of with the series flipped his section of the satire and thought that he was serious about some shit about the dinosaurs and like it connecting with the Aztecs or something. He was like, you know, pretending to be like an expert. And the guy was like, this is bullshit, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you took the satire and thought that it was real. And then the satire was literally making fun of your podcast, and you clipped it on your podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's amazing.
Real weird meta kind of space.
That's
that we live in.
That also does bring this up again, since we're pretty far into the podcast now, the episode. We're not experts. We talk about a lot of subjects that we don't know that much about. Everything we know is it just comes with the disclaimer that, you know, we don't have degrees in the field. We're not a credible source. If you clip us out of context, that's on you.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't give a fuck about anything. Clip that. I did a toss off thing the other day. You know what I'm gonna say? You know what I'm gonna say? You can do whatever you want. AI is just gonna make versions of all of this stuff, and people are gonna be able to make us saying whatever, and now it'll nullify everything. So sorry about your cancel culture. Like it's getting canceled by AI because AI is gonna create a world that's inseparably like dishonest and disingenuous. Ha ha.
Yeah,
the AI. You guys want to stay in that space, and you guys can stay in that space and live in the pig pen. Ha ha. But you're never gonna get out.
They can try.
That's me being cynical. Hey, Abso, I wanted to see the Little Mermaid, motherfucker. And can you get me another cup of coffee?
You're gonna go right. You're gonna go right now. CP, we're about to take a break.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna take a quick break here at the 15-minute mark of Deep Dive. I have to get more coffee too.
Yeah.
And a glass of water.
Oh, he's gonna go super big. So yeah, re-up on your drinks
Self-care.
and
Yes.
yeah, self-care.
We shall be right back, everybody.
Burr.
Oop. Forgot to comb my beard when we did the BRB. I have like one cowlick in my beard that's like messing me up.
My beard's all fucking jank
So
too. Don't worry about
I'm
it.
just gonna touch my face while we talk. Hope that's fine.
Well, that's what I've been doing all day.
Yeah.
But I'm tactile and I have a beard on my face, so
So I'm gonna
how
just
can I not?
turn off the
How can
timer
I
because the
not?
time's wrong
When
now.
there's this like
Yeah, your
when there's this-
luxurious beard. Welcome to beard talk. We're gonna talk
yeah,
about
you get this thing.
my beard's. I tend to keep my beard at the same length all the time. Wrong
Yeah,
button.
mine's been about this length because it like they're hard to grow super long, but it's been where it's kind of been staying these days.
CT,
I get that artist vibe. See,
taking care of
I
my
got the artist
beard
look.
is a form of
I must be an artist.
self-care. Taking care of my
Yeah.
beard is a form of self-care for me.
And a good example, I actually felt like a fucking wreck yesterday, and I had a crazy Thursday and Friday. I went over to the Walmart and I got a little battery operated beard trimmer because I hadn't had like the little one, and I just did some work, just on the mustache and stuff because it was looking wily in the heat, and
it is looking sharp.
I did it right in the car, and I was like, fuck it, had the air conditioner on, it was blowing up my eyes. I'm like, oh, I'll probably turn that off. Okay. And yeah, now I felt like a human, and now I have that thing, I have a portable one. You keep it in the car, on the fly. Just self-care. You can do self-care anywhere. One of my big things, in addition to the grooming, is that I started this year, is I realized what's something that I enjoy in the physical world that makes me feel relaxed and comfortable is scents, and I like smells. And so I've been buying the better soaps, like the nicer soaps, even in the grocery store. Like you go over that area and you can get the soap and put it in a little bag or whatever. You might have that around, or you go to like a little craft store and they might have a special like soap they've made, and they're usually like $5, and it's like, well, that's kind of expensive for soap, but it's very nice, and I don't have to use it every day. But every once in a while, I'm getting feedback. I'm hearing myself.
Why are you hearing yourself?
Is that you, Abso, with the thing up loud in the other room? Okay. Oh, sorry. I could hear myself in the other room on that monitor.
Oh, oops. Okay.
Oops. Probably wasn't picking up on the mic. But as I was saying, like self-care, like it was just a nice soap. And we found a shout out Nostalgic. What is that company? Nostalgic Scents. Peach Pop Tarts runs. She does these random boxes, and it was like a 1990s themed scent box that has wax candle, melts, and it had a soap, and had a soap that was called Lisa Frank that smells like real fruity. So you get like the nostalgia kind of vibe to it, and then she tries to recreate different scents that feel like different time periods.
Oh, that's cool.
So and then like she has one that's like spot on fruity pebbles, and you can have like a little candle burner and put that like in the corner and have like the smell of fruity pebbles while you're like working in your studio, office, whatever. So sometimes just setting up something nice like that, it doesn't take much. You don't have to be like, I gotta go out and buy myself a trip or something big. It can be very subtle.
There are
nostalgic essential.
There are a lot of self-care things that like it's commodified. So a lot of stuff that you see online is fake. It's like it's not a big trip to the Bahamas. It's not like buying yourself a new car or buying anything really. Like the sense is something that you can buy, but that's not like crazy expensive. That's not like something that's gonna break your bank.
Yeah.
For me, self-care involves like I bought a new game recently, and it's
Ah.
been so difficult to tell myself that it is okay to play the game. I'm playing it, I'm trying to enjoy it. My brain's going, be productive, be productive. What are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm like, but the game, it's fun. And my brain's going, oh, this is fun. But then also it's got the other voice telling me not to practice self-care. It's saying you should be more productive. Why are you wasting time? Like for me, and sometimes it's playing a video game that feels like
Yeah.
self-care. And I even my brain was so incessant on the productivity thing that I ended up live streaming Zelda the other day. I did it.
Hey, there you
I
go.
did it twice, and I'm like, great. Now I'm being productive and having fun. But like, how come my brain won't let me practice self care? How come my brain won't let me just enjoy the game? There's like that's something that I do want to touch on. Is like sometimes it fights you on it. Like you'll be in the bath with the scented oils and the music, and your brain is still like squawking at you, like you should be productive. Like
Yeah. So perfect example. Um, yeah, I will say in response to the game, it's very nice when you find what you've found with that game, the special love that you have found. Oh
it is
my
special. It
God,
is a
it's so
special
beautiful.
love.
But it is beautiful, and I haven't found it since Epic Goose Game. And Epic Goose Game,
Oh
I
god,
100%ed, and I love it more than
I
it was. That
oh
was
my
my
god,
game.
I played that's I watched your entire playthrough of that on Twitch because that was during
Dude, you
COVID.
see how much fun I had?
Yeah, that was during COVID, and there were days
I was a goose.
there were days when I would have you on and I'd be working on art and I just feel like this is awesome.
I was the goose, man. I want to go back and do it. I invested in the goose. Like,
Yeah.
this is, I don't have to be a human in a global pandemic. I'm a goose fucking with a farmer. And to have the creativity to be able to use my imagination in a way that I hadn't in ages. And you figure games now are very linear, they're very cinematic, and I
Yeah.
love that too with the beginnings of Metal Gear Solid. It's like, wow, this is a movie now, and I'm using less of my imagination to fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Well, if you look in the background, I don't, you guys could see it. There's a centipede cabinet. Most of what its graphics are very basic and rudimentary, and the art of the cabinet itself is informing the experience. So why even have this arcade cabinet? For me, that's the whole package. I don't even need to play it. It's the idea that the art on the side of the cabinet
Yeah.
is helping inform what the pixels are.
Is that a
And
form of
you needed that because you have nothing to work with, right?
yeah.
So I can create.
Is that a form of self care for
Yes.
you?
Well, yeah. So it's like it feels very good. It reminds me of like where I wanted to start with art, what started to come together visually. I was making connections between things that were similar but different, and that's, I think, where some of the artist mind was starting to develop in being in these arcades. And so for me to have the object around me, it's like, what do you surround yourself with for objects? You want to surround yourself with things that make you remember good things, that make you feel joy, that make you feel good about yourself, and that show like what you've done or where you started from.
Yeah.
So when I see that, I can see the whole pathway. And I also acknowledge there was a time where games were just like, I had to make that world. I had to expand that narrative through art and writing. And it helped me become more creative. It helped when there wasn't many people around there to help me become artistic. It was a thing that like was just standing in front of me saying, this is how you make things artistic. And it's such an important thing, and it ties with all my values. So when Goose Game came out, just to wrap that up, it was the first time I started to be able to be like, oh, it isn't like a story of the goose does this and does that. It's more about like, oh no, I can just play. This
Yeah.
is me just kind of
Oh my goodness.
being able to relax and play
So,
and lose myself in something to be me, like you are getting to do
I can,
this expansive giant Zelda game now.
yeah, I can sense a lot of joy in what you're saying. And then also, you jokingly said at the beginning when we were setting up that I might, in talking about this, I might be trying to get you into the new Zelda game. And after what you just said about Goose Game, I actually do want to get you into this new Zelda game because it opened up the world to so much creativity. You can play it how you want to play it. Like you're given the big goal of find the princess, save the princess, right? But then it goes figure it out. And you have this massive open world. You're given all these awesome tools to make that happen through these new devices you can build in the game. And
yeah, I could not play that game. I've watched like Video Game Donkey. I've watched like funny kind of clips to see what it is. It's brilliant, dude.
Yeah.
It's too fucking awesome. Like I would just build those contraptions all day long.
And yeah, so you're saying you're going to
like
avoid it. You're going to avoid it because of that, because you might be addicted to it.
Yeah, I mean, for now, like that's.
I'm gonna let you try it at our.
Like,
I'm gonna let you try it at our artist retreat, though. I'm gonna bring it with me.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
I'll play the shit out of it, and I'll make a bird up mobile.
Bird up. So for perspective, right? So the Legend of Zelda series has defined my life. Like this is here's a personal touch in the podcast of sort of like some of my past, right? So Ocarina of Time is the reason I'm the man I am today. That game,
there it is.
That game was so defining for me. This idea that one person, could be important enough to affect. In the game, it was only hundreds of people because like they didn't have the technology at the time to make like a world feel like full of people. So the world felt like there's only hundreds of people that I was saving. And that actually fits into the real world more than you'd think, where you're not going to change the world. You're going to change your world. Ocarina of Time made me realize that I have the power to change something. Like I'm important enough to change things for the better. And in the context of the game, it sort of actually gave me a hero complex for much of my life, which actually was a problem. That was something I had to work out in therapy. I had to figure out that the way that I affect change in the world doesn't need to come from the place of being the hero. It needs to come from a place of changing my world first and saving my world.
Being the villain.
Recognizing that you have the villain inside you as well. You have both.
Villain inside. Space Vikings got the villain inside.
So this new game comes out, right? And I'm in this intense art block. And I'm just coming out of the art block. And then this game comes out and everybody's playing it and I'm like, you know what? Usually I wait a while before buying a new game, but like I'm seeing it and I'm like, I don't want it to be spoiled for me because I care so much about these characters and this story. And this is where it gets kind of woo-woo and a little bit fucky for me. Every time a new Zelda game comes out, there's a profound effect that it has on my life. Ever since Ocarina of Time, there's been, maybe I'm looking for the meaning and I find it because I'm looking for it, but there's also this aspect that it just seems to always happen too. That this game,
you might be part of a Zelda calendar or Zelda clock in your head.
Maybe I'm in the same. Maybe my life is in the same sort of cycle.
Because there's so many of them, right? And then its timeline in itself is wonky and all back and forth.
But it's not all of them, though. It's like I didn't really get attached to Minish Cap. I didn't really care about Four Swords. I didn't care about the remake of Link's Awakening. I didn't really pay attention to those. But this one in particular that just came out, it's funny that I was in an art block. I needed to feel more freedom in my life. I needed the idea that what I was doing, no matter which way I did it, I could find my way to do it and still achieve the goal. And this game ticked every box, and it's just amazing that I can look at a game and learn so much about myself. Like, I need the freedom to create. I need the room in my life to be myself, to find my own way, or I will not be able to do it. I'll feel caged, I'll shut down. And I've actually had to set some hard boundaries at my job, and basically I had to tell my boss a couple things about, like, this isn't working for me, this isn't working for me, this sucks, this isn't great. Like, I went through this laundry list of things, like,
fuck you, you're cool.
Yeah,
Peace, I'm out.
basically. And but in in the most respectful way. Like, I actually love my boss, he's great. I was able to have this discourse with him where we reached a point where, like, this is where the company's at, this is what we're actually doing in the company, and this is why it's like it's structured the way it is. And I said, okay, I was able to set a hard boundary of, like, if this continues for much longer, I will be leaving, because I'm miserable, right? I said, and then he said that some things are changing, and your boundaries are going to be sort of loosened by these changes. I'm like, okay, we'll see. Like, sometimes a conversation's going to go a certain way, and you don't know how it's going to go. But, like, this game, it's funny that it's interesting to me that a video game made me realize so many of my needs and boundaries that needed to be set, and it made me realize how much of my brain works a certain way. So the self-care I'm practicing in playing this game brought me to a very important realization about my life. So, like, self-care isn't just for, like, relaxation. It's also for analyzing and recognizing what's working, what's not. Like, it's almost like what sleep is supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, and speaking to what you said, it's really great that you have that connection with the game. And historically speaking, most mediums, most art as they came out were shit on, right? So the movie, the cinema was a parlor trick, stick in a penny and watch, like, a peep show, running horse. And then it became something, and then it became an art form, right? Today it's acknowledged as an art form. And then comic books came out, and they're funny books, kids. But now, Art Spiegelman wrote Mouse, and that won a Pulitzer Prize. It's people go get master's degrees in graphic storytelling.
That book, oh my god, in my art school they used it as an example of a lot of things of storytelling.
Yeah, we should talk about it sometime. It's amazing. It changed changed, like, a lot of the ways I looked at things.
I would love to do we should do an entire episode on different media and how it sort of affected society and ourselves and the human condition. But I do,
that would,
like, do you have a game?
so,
I do want to ask, though. Like, you said that, like, these pieces of media had a profound effect on the world and the art world. But I want to I want to know a person. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, a personal effect. I want to know the personal effects of, like, what Zelda did to me in my life. Do you have something in your life that did something similar? Was that Dig Dug?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It was a lot of the first arcade games would be the things that I would see, and you had to lend a lot of imagination to them. And I'm just, hey, here's CP, little kid just starting out in the world, and he's looking. Not only think of perspective. I'm 6 foot tall, and I look down on these things now, right?
Yeah.
Well, I went to an arcade recently, and I started taking pictures of them from, like, the perspective I'd have as a kid. And they look like buildings. Yeah. And when you're looking up one of these boards, they look like you're looking across the field, or Donkey Kong looks like you're looking up the construction site. So in my case, I would be popping in. My dad would be building this house with his friends, where there's a lot going on. I'd see these men up on this construction site, and then I go to the arcade and I'd see a version of that. And so I don't know so I'm just contextualizing and, like, putting these things together. And I'm like, I can't climb on the construction site because I'm a little kid, but I can climb on this construction site. Hey, and look, this Mario guy looks like my dad. He's little and he's got a mustache, because that's what a lot of people looked like in the 80s.
Yeah.
So it starts to become something that I relate to, starts to inform. And then, just a few years later, I'm seeing the change in games. I'm seeing that they're starting to become stories. They're starting to become art. And I'm like, games are art now, and you had criticism, like was it one of those Siskel or Ebert, rest in peace, guys. They were the big critics back in the day, and they just argue over, they played like devil's advocate a lot on movies. It's just the two of them, and it was entertaining. But they said video games, would never be like movies.
Right.
They're not going to be like high art. And now at this point, MoMA, the Museum of Fine Art in New York, has games like Tetris,
yes,
the Out of This World, Another World, all these different games that they have classified as art. And then he kind of ate his words and went back on it. So a lot of times these things come out and they're not seen as art, but they are, and they're informing your experience. So people were reading books a couple hundred years ago, and then they were watching movies during the 20th, and these were the stories of the time that help people understand how to live as being a human being. So what you're doing is you're just playing the modern day equivalent of a narrative that you get to embed yourself more and more in, more than ever, because the book, when you're allowed to use your imagination, you're allowed to explore things about yourself. And so I might have been turning arcade games into relationships of construction yards with my dad. But as I got older, things like even The Legend of Zelda, when I played it in context to this time of year and a rainy day like this, if you're to go outside, it's probably like this right now in New Hampshire, but go outside in Maine right now. And if it was becoming night, the beginning of Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past was one of the first ones I played. And I make a correlation between those two things. So when I walk outside right now, Matt, it's going to be The Legend of Zelda for Super Nintendo for me, even in my 40s. It still will inform and resonate. And then the narrative games like Metal Gear Solid, the philosophy of seeing movies change and tell stories and teach lessons. When I was in my 20 years old or whatever, playing Metal Gear Solid, it was changing the way I was looking at life as I was growing old and transitioning from a kid into an adult, which I'm still doing by the looks of things. But so, games are viable media that are going to help inform what you need to do, and they're going to help you with rest, because it's like sleep. You're kind of tuned out in a way. So you're kind of in a meditative state with your buddy Link. Yeah. You're learning stuff about you. So it is valuable. So don't throw it away. I fell asleep for 2 days. I finally crashed at the end of the month. I needed sleep, and it ruined me emotionally and physically, but I needed the sleep. I needed to go past. I had to feel it.
He says I needed sleep.
I needed it.
So
I woke up in a whirlwind on the hottest day ever, but hey, I got it done.
Sleep helps when your body's tired, right?
In your brain, right?
Self-care helps when your soul is tired.
Yeah.
I feel like that's fair. I'm not trying to speak so in a confirmation sense, because I'm also asking the question to you and our viewers, is self-care when self-care is when you heal your soul, and sleep is when you heal your body. So what if you live a life where you have neither? That's the thing that I really want to touch on too. What if you're not sleeping and you're not practicing self-care, and you're in a constant state of burnout? How long until something snaps and your life starts to degrade?
You'll get sick.
You will get, that's true. I can say. I can say some confirmation with that. But yes, you will get sick.
Because it's a wear and a strain on your body. Anything you can do to be de-stressed and send oxygen through your body, get rest. It is so important. And as time goes on, I've realized it is key to helping staying youthful and staying energetic, breathing. And a lot of it has to do with grounding and being when we're talking about self-care, we're talking about a lot of physical stuff, right? We're talking about rest. We're talking about soap, things they're relaxing, but they're a physical nature, and there's something that do help ground you. Like if there's a lot of stress and turbulence in your head, it is good to create a space around you that doesn't help add to the stress, that helps with the de-stress. And if a scent's great, because like how do you win against stress in your mind? Well, it's like Freddy in the dream world. I got to pull myself out of my own dream world. How do I pull myself out of my dream world into the real corporeal world? Smell, touch. And the more I can activate, if you freeze an orange, my friend, and you take that out and you put it up to your nose and you smell a frozen orange, and the ice skims on it, and you get it on your face and it's cold, and then the ice cracks on it and you feel the texture of the orange. I've heard that is one of the top things.
That imagery.
To engage, yeah, multiple sensory inputs. Be like, boom, hey, I'm right here in the physical space. So that's where self-care is cool. Get yourself some like new sunglasses or something. And you see yourself in the mirror and you're like, look at me, I'm so glad, this is cool, I'm cool. Don't do it too much. Don't get caught up in the hype of having to buy your way into your happiness all the time, but getting yourself a thing that you can wear every day, or a hat you like, or trimming up the beard because you got pasta sauce. Like, oh man, I can't even do the pizza without bathing in this shit.
Can't even do the pizza without bathing. Yeah, what, being cleanly is an interesting thing of self-care. Like just like if you're in a state of depression and your brain is having some malfunctioning, like when it comes to like it's a imbalance in the chemicals in your brain, that's what depression technically is. If you're experiencing that, then self-care might actually be really difficult to achieve. Like even something as simple as taking a shower can be considered self-care if you are feeling like a depressed state or in a anxious state. So like the difficulty comes from comes from just doing it, right? From like if you can get out of your bed and go take a shower, that becomes self-care if you're in a depressed state. Like it's something that is like normally a common occurrence for most people. If you're someone who's suffering from chronic depression, allowing yourself to like getting up and taking that shower, that's self-care. Like you're doing amazing if you manage to get up and take a shower, or you take a walk, or even get up to make a meal, or even just get out of bed. It can be a form of self-care if you're in one of those more critical states.
Why I was stressing, earlier, the less harm. Like, don't think that you have to figure it out today. It's like if you have a bad habit and you're like, I should do this less, then like, or I should quit this. Like maybe just do it less. Like there's ways, because you touched on a really good point. We're all at different places, and there are people who are just they're so stuck in their head and having a hard time that getting up and doing the self-care is almost unheardable. It's like, dude, I haven't even showered in 5 days, and I've been sleeping for 3 days, and I ate once. Like, how are you gonna tell that person to go buy a nice soap? Maybe that is the answer, but like we're all at different stages, and what minor adjustment can you do? And sometimes if you can do that shower, or sometimes you can go outside and get in the sun for a second. Little things like that sleep is probably one of the top ones. Simple stuff like that. Or sleeping less and more. Sleeping all the time. I gotta get up. Like, gotta go into town. Force yourself to get out of the place that's putting you in a bad position.
Do the thing.
Yeah, it's work. It's for you. It's for you. All for you.
It's from you for you, right? That's something that's like really important to realize, that it's an act.
Foo. What?
What? No, an act of love. It's an act of love.
From you for you. Foo.
Yeah. Oh, fufu. Okay,
Fufu.
from you for you.
Fufu. Not like
Fufu.
FUBU.
It's a little
All
bit
right.
like it's a little bit like fubu.
Fufu. Well, that's yeah. For us, by us. Yeah. Yep. By us. Fuck
By
you.
us for us.
Um. That's how you can go off rails with
Like you
a ADHD moment.
like you going to build a bear.
Build a bear.
KJ is going to build a bear as a form of self.
Oh, nice. That's a hey. That's document that. Throw that on the Discord.
Document that shit, man.
That's fun. I remember those places. I'm glad they're still around. They probably have IPs galore now. I'm sure Disney's got up in there, and you can stitch together your own Lilo and Stitch. Hey, dun dun.
You can make that.
Do we own our own janitor? The IP when I pee.
Oh my god, guys, we are now getting into the breath of fresh air.
A breath of fresh air. We're getting close to the end of it. We're gonna.
Yeah. Oops.
Self-care is
Jesus.
for
Oh
you.
jeez.
Ask yourself what you want.
Oh heck.
And it's okay to ask yourself, what do I want?
Oh gosh.
Not instead of just like what this fucking guy wants.
Here we go. What do you want for you? Look, so I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom.
Fresh air.
Minor spoilers, right? So the breath of fresh air is like that's been my form of self-care lately.
Breath of the Wild, you mean?
No, Breath of the Wild was the one before Tears of the Kingdom.
I didn't play it.
Honestly, you'd have fun with either one, but I think you'd have more fun with Tears of the Kingdom because of the creativity.
I think what they did is they pulled a hustle. Nintendo pulls all kinds of hustles. They're like a toxic relationship.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they do. They know how to play.
But
play
then
the game.
there's the thing is, right? They had an asset that was perfect, pretty much. And then they went, what can we do to make perfect even better? And they added an underground, and they added a sky, and they added really creative and fun ways to traverse down into the underground or into the sky. And then they added a whole nother story element to make it all make sense. And people are calling it they're calling it an expansion pack when in actuality it's a expansion on the concept, and then they built a whole new game around that new concept.
Oh my god! See how bonered out he is right now with this.
I'm bonered out because it touched on every box was checked, so to speak, right?
You know what they did? They're like, hey, we're gonna make this awesome IP, and then we're gonna run it into the ground with terrible Wii games. And
so I threw it on the ground.
Just kidding. We're gonna come out with the real good one that we've been working on during the whole time, while we just gave you crappy ones. You bought them though, but now you're hooked.
It's well, when you see it, you'll see it's not crappy. I know you're just. I am bonered out because I love it. But the point is that it's a form of self-care for me. And I want to say a disclaimer, minor spoilers here, right? So like you learn what if you don't want it spoiled, CP, I won't continue.
Oh, I don't give a fuck, dude. Okay, I don't know. The timeline is so crazy. All I know is
that's true. So you learn that there's something in society right now where the idea of a woman sacrificing her life for a man's life is completely left field, right? Very uncommon. And so what happens in the story in this shows that Princess Zelda cares so fucking much about her mission and about helping Link complete his mission that she sacrifices her existence. Basically transforms herself.
I guess everybody forgot about Sigourney Weaver. Anyways.
Well, there's
Weaver.
That's another good example. It's uncommon though. Still, that doesn't make it common, but that is another example for sure.
No, she broke. I mean, they were breaking all the barriers. Like the original Alien character was written for a man, and then
for a
Sigourney Weaver. Yeah.
For a Zelda game, this is incredibly uncharacteristic.
Yeah, especially since like it's been so much of like damsel in distress and save the princess for so many years. I mean, when I was a kid,
Yeah.
like there was this dude running around like all live action video, like Zelda, like punching glass and stuff. You can watch that old ad, like behind the glass, my prize, and it was like, man, they got some weird shit in little boys' heads, like
Yeah.
my girl's behind the glass.
The reason this
Yeah.
fits with what we're talking about is that, again, the game provided something I didn't know I needed to see. Right? I was like, wow, that feels awesome. Be a character, sort of personify something that I had never seen before. That I didn't realize I had this ideology in my head, the hero complex, right? This huge thing of like I have to save the princess. And then to have this game go, the princess is going to save her fucking self, she's going to save the world, and she's going to save you too. Like, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. And then I realized, like, holy shit, I don't need to be the hero. I need to find someone who believes in my mission just as much as I do.
Whoa!
Right?
You need a team.
I need a fucking partner. And a Zelda game to have this? It's like, the fuck?
I mean, I was vibing with Tupac's "Me Against the World," you know, for a long time, and I still do. And then I realized, oh man, Tupac's not even around, but like that message is still here, and like, oh man, I understand that adversity against like a person against one person against a larger group, but then it's like, but then aren't we both saying the same thing? Aren't we both in the same team, like with this belief? And it's like, well, if you're against the world and I'm against the world and we both believe this, it's not actually me against the world, it's us against the world. And it changes it all. It is about a bigger picture. A bigger picture at the end of the day.
Yeah. That's
You don't
my
have to be responsible for everything.
that's my takeaway and my breath of fresh air from this. From this sort of idea of self-care and hope, like that made me very hopeful too. Like that sort of fits in with that subject as well. That it's that the storytelling is starting to catch up with a lot of the really healthy mindsets of like don't be codependent, rely on yourself, but also recognize what you need.
Yeah, art and entertainment is a great way to express different things that you think are important and needed for the world. And I think it is an important message to be expressed right now where, yeah, let's work together on this. And things don't always have to be so gloomy and heavy, and get a group of people feeling better and get new people in the world thinking like, oh, maybe this is a good way to feel. Setting a standard, positive thought in the world through a video game. Who knew that they'd become so complex? It wasn't just me shooting centipedes. It could be a life-changing experience.
There are the war crimes that you commit against the enemies in the game, but that's besides the point.
Oh, well,
What are you gonna do?
isn't that's up to the individual, right? And you get to make your own way, really. You didn't even probably have to kill anybody. You could run away in your little hoverboat.
I mean, I didn't have to kill anybody.
You can wear a mask.
You can run away in your hoverboat. there is a way to build a hoverboat.
I've seen all kinds of wild stuff, and like you can do anything in that. I think it's designed with the ADHD brain in mind, because I feel like I would have a ball not playing the story at all, just making contraptions. And maybe you can get me onto doing that at the artist retreat. We can record a bunch of weird contraptions that we can make together. Let's get some Dig Dug stuff for the underground. Some deep dive in The Legend of Zelda. Be hilarious.
That would actually be a fun bonus segment.
Oh yeah,
that
dude.
we could actually do on stream too, because I have a way to like hook it up and both comment on it.
Sweet. I think that sounds like a great idea. I'd be excited to do that. Oy. So what do you think, my friend? Have we hitting that 2 hour mark? We're addressing that
Well, I know
topic.
you have something you have to go do, right?
Yes, in theory. I haven't checked my phone. Um
Did you actually
well,
have
I mean,
plans or
I was supposed to. Well, Abs is taking off to the Little Mermaid.
are you
Gonna
gonna go
go in
with
and
her?
meet. No, I have a meeting in town and
Oh,
business type stuff. Cool.
business.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Uh,
Hey yo.
Yo,
Nobody cares.
that was kind of. What are you hopeful for? What's your biggest hope right now? Let's end with
That
that.
I can keep art alive in my area. Um that I can keep industrialization at a minimum in my neighborhood. That I become a better version of myself over the next life span.
Better become a
Uh,
better version of yourself.
yeah, and I fulfill some of my art objectives, like getting the 8 levels of the Dreamers Arcade main game out. And, you know, I'm hopeful uh, because I've got friends who are doing similar things and they're being creative and artistic and thinking outside of the box. And
Pretty hopeful
uh,
for our artist retreat.
yeah, that gives me hope when people are giving positive ideas and energy and creating some of the affirmations too. And also uh, just the way things are moving along, momentum. Times if you stay up on things, even though you get in your head like, oh, to send this email or contact this person about this, it can halt the momentum, and sometimes the momentum feels a little more natural and fluid, and then you start to feel like, oh, this is like gonna happen, and it keeps the hope up instead of like slowing down and then thinking about it too much. I say don't think as much as I do. That's what I'm trying to do. Good to know what you're doing, but give yourself a certain amount of space and improvisation to allow things to happen so that you might be able to pivot. Because if you're thinking something and you're believing in something, and there is something out there that's bigger than you trying to guide you to that, then you also want to keep your eyes open for it. And if you're in your head thinking, like, if this happens, then this is going to screw things up, that won't help you see what's actually in front of you. It'll keep you away from looking.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yes, sir. That's some CP advice for your Saturday morning. Now go watch some cartoons and eat some cereal because the morning's not over here.
Oh, really? Do it up. So with that, guys, this has been Rise in Mind. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning.
Yes.
Both CP and I have some stuff we got to go do. I have my I'm a friend uncle to this awesome little girl who is doing a art show, her first ever art show, and she's like, I want Uncle Matt to be there, and I'm like, well, dang, I guess I gotta, because like
Yeah.
you don't deny, like when a kid like wants something like that, like something so wholesome, like you're just like, yes, I will do this.
You gotta go buy something.
I very well might.
Is she doing it at her house, or are they doing it in a like space?
It's a legit like art show with a bunch of different kids from the town. That's like really clever.
And see, that gives me hope. At the end of the day, that's what
Yeah.
makes me hopeful, because there are people facilitating what I'm trying to facilitate now in my community. Spaces for artists, to believe that they can get together and sell art professionally and have a community. Right on.